Hey, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. And to this week, in fact, on the 11th, which is Tuesday, we have another full moon. Yeah, it goes, one of 12. This one is in Libra, and it'll be at 1:08 a.m. Central Standard Time in the USA is when it will go full. But of course, we are presently being influenced by it and will be over the next 10 days to 2 weeks also. And as I checked in with my group of favorite astrologers who've already posted about this full moon, it comes to be that it is a very good full moon in that there's a lot of Venus and Jupiter, and there's a lot of good fortune and expansion. But there are also a lot of pitfalls and traps. Sound familiar? Oh, you can have this good thing, but then along comes this other thing, right? So what I call this the full moon of transmutation. Transmutation is described and refers to completely changing one substance to another. And as conscious light beings, that is what we are capable of, we're masters of, and we often forget it in our daily life and on a global level. I suppose Saint Germain is the master most well known, first of all, for our helping with our Constitution and the birth of our country, and second of all, for bringing to us the remembrance of the violet flame of transmutation. I found, though, and this is the exciting part, that as masters in moving into 5D frequency and beyond, we are ready to own that transmutation within our own solar hearts of God. Maybe you could say our own purple flames, if you will. And they are it's the cosmic light of Christ that is burning brightly in so many of us right now and in our hearts. And so we forget that we have this magnificent ability and opportunity to change things. So I wanted to share with you my particular journey. Hold on just a second. I don't know what's going. There we go. My particular journey with transmutation this week. A friend of mine came to visit, and she had a brand new deck of cards. They're Osho cards, but not the original Osho cards from back in the 90s, which are my fave. I use all the time, Osho Tarot. But these ones are new, called the Osho Transformational Tarot. And so we fooled around with them, and I drew a card for me. Whoops, I have to open this up. Okay, I drew a card for me, and it was the card of transmutation. And I want you all to take a look at it here. I hope it is showing well enough. Maybe back up a little there. Okay, that's the card of transmutation. And as you can plainly see, this God, goddess, woman in prayer and meditation, she is bringing in some very dark energy. There's reptile, there's a snake, there's dark shadows, and she's breathing it into her consciousness, into her very being. And as she breathes out, and from her heart through her crown chakra, it comes out as rainbows, as love, as light, as golden sunshine. Can you get a good look at that? Good, because that's all of you and all of us. We are these transmuters that have simply tend to forget that we have that ability. And we're honing it, but we're masters of it. So what's the best way for mastery, right? Is to practice it. So I also had an incident that was very transformational with me a few days later. By the way, I want to mention before I forget, this full moon is in Libra. I'm not so sure I said that, which is my sign. So it's wonderful, but I'm going to have to watch those pitfalls. And I particularly already have felt this energy in my personal relationships, especially with my beloved Mark, as we move through these trying times of packing up and moving and not knowing where the heck we're going, right? It's a lot of breathing in of the unknown, of the dark, of the clouded, and the breathing it out, transmuting it into the light that will show us the way. But even beyond that, I have a very, very, very close and dear friend who has been diagnosed with a severe and virulent, quick-moving form of blood cancer. And it's just incredible to watch the swiftness of this disease in action, and especially with someone you love. And I've been doing a lot, of course, work with this. And after I saw this card, it dawned on me to breathe in this disease, breathe in the blood cancer, breathe it into my very being, and transmute it through my own Christ light. Now, my ego said, I don't know if this is such a good idea, Nancy Joy, because going back to the old 3D, 4D template, you protected yourself, after healing someone, you scrubbed up and wished their energies away. And I get this, but if you're really in your Christed being, he held the lepers in his hand, right? I mean, biblically, he smited the wicked by enfolding them and enclosing them. And that really is what's going on. So what I want to make clear for all of you this week, by the way, I did that for about 45 minutes, just like the picture. And I myself had a transformational experience. I haven't reconnected with my friend yet. But for me, that thinned the veil. I had an amazing experience with this. So that's why I felt it was so important to share with you, especially right now where you have the spouting off of all the chemical bombing of the children and the innocent women and the bombing of the Syrian base. And all of a sudden this week, within these few days of this full moon, and it all seems to be blowing up. It's blowing up so we can transmute it. Personally, I believe all that Syrian gas and all the killed children, and I don't believe for a minute Assad did that to his people or the Russians. I don't believe it happened. I think it's another false flag. That's the message I got. But I got that after transmuting. When we get hit with these things, boom, ba boom, ba boom, whether on a personal level or whether on a global level, it's time to be still, to go inside. Remember, we talked about breathing in your own universe. Breathing in, you are the central sun of our galaxy and universe. You are source. You are creating the event that's going to happen. So use that picture and that sense of transformation to guide you in the coming weeks and through this full moon. Again, another way to take you out of polarity when you're troubled by somebody, want to blame somebody, want to have an opinion about something. Trust me, we're clueless as to the truth of all this. 90% of what's coming through is illusion, and then in the core of it is the truth, right? Is who we are. But our minds want to judge. We want to figure it out. So I know many of you might have a few issues. I call this transmutation sharing with you today, one for the very advanced conscious beings who snap into it and can really flow with it, and others who begin to try it and work with it because it's there. So have a great week this week. Don't forget this image of this goddess and the power you have to transform absolutely anything into light, into love. Catch the magic. Have a great week. Let's open up for all the blessings of this full moon. And if we hit a trap door or some such thing, we know what to do, right? Transmute, transmute, transmute. Don't forget the free mini sessions. Please, please call me. I'm loving doing these. Have a great week. Take care of who you are. See you again next week. Bye-bye.